All right, so where do we want to begin with this one? Have you ever been on a team that pulled the chute? And that's not to say, Razor, as we welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, that the Sabres aren't trying. I'm not saying that. But I'm asking you, have you ever been on a team that you knew you weren't going to win, basically, and the chute had been pulled?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The 2008, 2009 Colorado Avalanche. We were in a playoff position at the All-Star break, and I think we won 3 games after that. Joe Sakic left. Injuries. That was his last season. I believe the last 2 months we went 5-33. It was and it had the feel of what I watched tonight from the Sabres, where there's guys playing, you're gonna win a couple, but you just don't have it's not about what's on paper. It's just a matter of the mindset. And that was
nothing worse. Nothing worse.
Those were the next words coming out of my mouth. That was the most miserable February, March, half of April that I've ever had. I couldn't get out of the rink fast enough in April 5th, whatever it was. Brutal. It's awful. It's really awful.
Was the team that bad, or was it just a bad environment, a bad situation?
A bad environment, bad situation. I mean, we had Milan Hajduk, Adam Foote, Darcy Tucker. We had John Michael Lyle, Scott Hannon. We had good names, but it was a bad mix, and it was a mix that we couldn't put together. And it was just just absolute frustration. And you see it.
Who's the coach?
That was Granato, actually. To bring, but it was his
That's right.
Older brother, younger brother. What is it?
Older brother.
Older.
Yeah, Tony.
Tony's at Wisconsin now. And again, it was just a matter. That wasn't. But the year before they made the playoffs, so it wasn't all on him either. It was just a weird mix.
All right. So reason I asked that is the Bruins end up winning 4-1 over the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday night. Make it 2 wins in a row now for the Boston Bruins. Against a team now that is 0-11-2 in their last 13. They fire their head coach the day before, and Ralph Kruger 2 days before, technically, I guess it was. Their general manager, who is a complete newbie in the role, former National Hockey Leaguer Kevin Adams, talks at length on the off day about needing culture change, the importance of the next decision, all that stuff. And so the Bruins skate in here with the nice mug, good mug. The Bruins skate in with the opportunity to win the game and start, putting a little string together. But you always have that potential of the new coach bump. Donnie Granato, Tony's younger brother, named the interim head coach. Donnie is the former assistant under Ralph Kruger. They bring in 2 guys in Dan Girardi and Matt Ellis, former players, recently retired, onto the bench who,
there's no way they can know what's going on. Just like...
Right. But with that said, what concerned me, the potential of the recently retired player who just says, especially a guy like Dan Girardi. Matty Ellis, too, wasn't a high-skilled player. He was a grinded-out guy, but Ellis or Girardi, guys, this is the way we need to play. And guys respect that, and they know him because he's still young enough. So my concern was that it wouldn't go swimmingly. It wasn't a pretty game. But
on top of COVID too, right? On top of everything that happened through the day. Like and I'm with you 100%. I was nervous about tonight. I thought this was prime. Here's another 2 points that get pissed away, essentially.
Yeah. But it didn't happen. I thought, like, oh man, is this a 2-1 shootout game? Either way. That's what I kind of thought.
I know.
But the Bruins get going. So let's look. The COVID situation is definitely worth talking. Let's just zip through the game really super quick, and then we'll talk about a few things, and we'll keep sipping our mugs, in which I'm going tea.
They're mugs now. These are beauties.
Mugs are in. Yes, so all you people said you do not need to cut and paste and tape. They're in. However, that does not mean we are in the mug business just yet. We may have a few extra. May. Emphasis on may. I think RC put an order in for about 200. He wants to take him back to New York and sell him out of the back of his pickup, I think. But anyways, we have the mugs, so we're somewhat legit again. But I do want to talk about COVID, the prep, the mindset, everything, and just how the team keeps moving forward from this. But let's talk about the game. 2 or 3 things that you really liked the most were what about this game?
I really liked how they got to the first 12 minutes, scored early, in on the forecheck, did a good job getting pucks deep. Even the top line felt like they got get it in deep, let's play simple right away. Mm-hmm. It didn't last the complete first period, but I thought they did a good job right away getting that first goal. And again, I think that first goal is so important against a team like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Next point, I really liked the fact that the second period, they turned it on, and they got the message when the shorthanded goal went in. Mm-hmm. That was kind of a wake-up. It wasn't they got down and, man, this is a tough game. They decided that they wanted it more than Buffalo did, even though Buffalo had a chance at that point. It felt like the Bruins decided that we need this more than they do. We're going to find a way to get this. And they got it from 2 guys who have been struggling to score flat out, 2 guys that were struggling, and Craig Smith and Jake DeBrusk scored. Craig Smith probably played his best game that I can remember. I'm sure it wasn't his complete best game, but pretty close.
Most noticeable game. There's no question about that, right?
Yes. 2 posts, flying around. So that's promising.
Yeah, his speed was noticeable. He only played 13 and a half minutes, but he had 3 shots that hit the net, 5 total attempts. I should know this. God, I forget so much shit once in a while. To post, is that considered a missed shot?
Yeah, he doesn't get credit for that
He
anymore.
doesn't get credit, though. So he actually had 5 attempts and then 2 posts. Which
That's
is
right.
Odd. How do you get that credit for a post? It doesn't make sense. They
It's
should have
just
another
It's
column.
not even a shot on net. It's
PS or PT
no.
or I don't know, or PO. I don't know.
But
whatever.
I mean, we could talk quickly about this, and that it's actually really, I think it's valid when it comes to Craig Smith among everyone. Like, he's been missing the net a lot.
Yeah, you're right. Too much. We talked about that.
And it hasn't been close. Tonight he missed the net a couple times, but it was really close with the posts. So I think, I'm sure there's some kind of computer program that can analyze how far away they're missing the net. But tonight was a difference on the eye test of what Craig Smith was bringing to the game.
Well, it's the old question, though, what comes first?
I know.
I guess the effort, or is it the competition? Because he got to the inside more. He has a propensity to shoot from distance. They are shots that are hard, but not that hard for you guys, you current NHL former goalies to stop if nobody's in front, et cetera. What I also like about his stat line, he had 2 takeaways. That means he's involved in the play. He was moving. It was good.
Yeah.
I agree with you about Jake DeBrusk. It was nice to see him in front. He played 19-20 because he got some 3 minutes of power play time. Jake had 3 shots. I liked how he grooved in front, followed it, hand-eye coordination, moved the hand up and down the shaft of the stick right there, made sure that he got it. How about David Krejci picking up 3 assists too? I mean, that's picking up over 700 career points as well now.
Yeah, to move 702. It's a massive number for anyone out there that, I mean, we see Alex Ovechkin with 720 goals, and you might diminish that 700 points because of all world Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, but 248 guys in the entire National Hockey League history to get to 700, it's really special. And you can see that how much it means to all the guys on the bench. Like to get to 700 is really quite bananas.
Is that the number? Only 248 guys have gotten to it?
That's why, I looked it up this afternoon or tonight. 248.
So then why do people give him so much crap? And it's rhetorical. I know why. I mean,
it's because he got 3 assists tonight and he was quiet. That's why. Right?
And because he makes $7.25 million. He was given that deal by the Bruins under Peter Chiarelli.
Yeah.
At the time when he was still the number 1 center.
Yeah, and he was the leading scorer in a playoff team that won the Stanley Cup.
Right. And
It
when they
warranted
went to
$7 million.
and then they went back in 13, and even though they lost, he was still the leading scorer for them. That is an incredible number. 248 players only have reached the 700-point plus mark.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I would have thought more than that.
No, I think it's kind of like a golf handicap where you get to like a 10 and 11 or even a 6 or 7 handicap, but to get it down to a 2 or 3. That's kind of like the 500, 600 points. There's a lot of guys in that range, but that 700 number really ramps you up.
Wow. Holy smokes. That's, I mean, and he won't even be considered for the Hall of Fame,
No,
right?
no.
And he might not even get his jersey retired by the Bruins.
No, because not all these guys can get it retired, right? That's good. It's going to be
Well, the Montreal
fascinating.
Canadiens retire everybody's.
Well, they used to.
They used to, I know. But because now, right.
The Maple Leafs too, right? But those aren't retired numbers. Those are
They're
honorary. I got to wear number 1 in Toronto, but that's up there in the Raptors too.
It's
Technically,
interesting, though. I mean, he's not like Tuca, where Tuca has far extremes, love and hate.
yeah,
But Krejci is, oh, God, get rid of him.
yeah.
I hope the people say, oh, God, get rid of him, or just looking at it from well, he's 35 years old, or 30, whatever he is, 34, 35, and they need that spot in the money, because I just don't think they realize how the void would be significant. Anyways, let me move past it. Let's touch on 2 players that have nowhere near 700 points in their career. I want to ask you about Jack Ahcan. Jack Ahcan, you have to say his name. You can't just say Ahcan. How did Ahcan play? It's got to be Jack Ahcan.
It's got to be Jack Ahcan.
Right.
Jack
It's
Ahcan.
like Shaka Khan. That's
Yeah,
what he
I
is.
know,
I
it
guarantee you
is.
somebody's brought that up before.
Yeah.
He had 3 shots, 4 total attempts. He had 2 blocks. He did giveth and taketh during the game at times. But overall, 25 shifts, I thought the kid showed some, some gumption, some balls.
I knew you were going to say gumption because that's
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah, because
and Coach
he's in
Cassidy
it.
talked about it. First NHL game, it's okay. I'd rather see someone be assertive and make mistakes than a kid get in there and just defer to Patrice, defer to Charlie McAvoy, go out there and play your game, and we'll deal with the mistakes. And that's been the almost the mantra of the entire year on the back end with the young guys is we'll deal with the mistakes, play your game, you skate the puck, move the puck, and we'll figure the rest of it out. And I thought that was, Shaka Khan showed that tonight, that he has instincts. He has very good hockey instincts. He's a good skater. He certainly would remind everybody of Torrey Krug if we go back to his tape in 2013. I mean, it'd be very similar,
Yep.
I would imagine. And so good on the kid to get in. He's got his game. He's in the books. And
I do think Krug put up bigger numbers offensively in college. This guy, Jack Ahcan was between 21 and I think it was 33 points now at St. Cloud State.
now
But I
you
do think-
know way more better. What is the game harder? It's no more point night in college, is there anymore? It's a little more.
Well, the conference that they're in too, the NCDC, they're really good. And he went from a team that was excellent to his senior year. It was a team that was in transition, new coach. So a lot of young players had to help guide them. They were a 500 team. But no, he's legit prospect. I don't know if he'll be a 45-point guy like a Torrey Krug. I'm throwing out 40 to 50.
Yeah, you can't
say that.
project that, right?
But, could he be a valuable asset to your team? Absolutely. He could. He got minute and power play time, 23 seconds shorthanded. The other guy, Oscar Steen, playing his second game. Steen had 3 shots in 14 minutes. Took a penalty. Okay, but I don't look. The other thing is this: both for Steen and for Ahcan. Now I know Steen played against Pitt, but I think the Buffalo Sabres are a great team for them both to continue, lacing their skates up against. A good indoctrination or introduction to the National Hockey League.
There's no question about that. For Jack Ahcan 2 nights ago against Malkin Crosby, a team that won 12 in a row or 8 in a row, would be much different. Definitely, and that's okay. That's not a knock. You still have to. Again, we talked about it on the telecast. It's the NHL. There's still a bunch of great players. You have to. The game's much faster for him. He played 2 games in the East Coast League this year, so
Yeah,
he's made big steps in the last 2 months to get to this point, and now it's all about, can he ramp up fast enough to get to the point where he's an everyday guy. And I think also for me, it comes down to depth, organizational depth. There's just one more guy that we've seen go on the back end that was a huge sticking point, a huge concern, that can play. He can give you minutes on a nightly basis, and we're down to, what is it, 10D now on the back end that have played?
10 or 11, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive that they're going through it the way they are and still in the position they are. I got to imagine there's nobody else has the winning percentage that they do that's had 10 or 11 D.
Colorado is pretty bad. I don't know if they were at 10 or 11, but I think they were at 9 or 10. I think they were at 9, I think.
Mm-hmm. And they have Nate Dogg McKinnon. Like that top line is.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I get your point. And it's good. And the good thing, too, is no real update on Tenorti, but it didn't sound like it was
As bad, right?
as it was dire.
Yeah, I
Didn't
got
sound
that
like
sense too, right?
Like he didn't rule him out the other night for Thursday, but all right, he's not going to play. But something about, well, they don't know about Saturday.
I was
No.
expecting a week to week, right? Like, all right, we don't know what, he's gone home and we're never going to see him.
He's got to be sore. Obviously, from the contact. I mean, understated.
I rode the
I'd
Peloton
like-
for 10 minutes and I'm sore,
Oh,
let
yeah, I
alone
know.
that.
I know the hammies. They've kind of sucked lately. My workouts, I haven't been able to. Saw a new Peloton instructor though. Whew. Leave it at that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
David
I do
Krejci.
the natural ride.
Yes, I'm sure. Grizzly, other defenseman. 6 shots. He's had a few games. He had 8 shots the other day. 6 shots here. Good to see him involved more. 21 minutes from him. I ask you this, or I ask the world this, but are the Bruins big enough on the back end? Now, I don't know if we can judge it because of all the injuries. They're just doing what they got to do right now. Zaboril's not small, but he's not big.
Mm-hmm.
McAvoy plays bigger, tougher, stronger than he is. But he's solid size. Don't get me wrong, he's solid. But talking Grizzly, you're talking to Jack Ahcan, and Vakanainen doesn't look stout to me when he's when I'm massive.
Yeah.
So I come back to are they big enough? Rhetorically asking. When everybody's healthy, I mean, with Kevin Miller and Lausanne and now Tenorti, yeah, they are. But without them, no. But then again, I mean, that's really maybe not a fair question because they're injured right now.
Yeah, but I think it's fair. We've seen them stand up to Washington. We've seen them stand up to everybody in this division. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming if we're going, like, you've watched the highlights, you watched the games of Vegas and Colorado.
Oh.
That is big boy hockey out there.
Yep.
And St.
Minnesota
Louis,
even now.
Minnesota, and these are like Greenway. There isn't, I don't, Ovi's close and there's Wilson, but the
Mark
forwards
Stone
that
is
those
enormous.
teams are rolling out, I'm not sure. But can you look that far ahead in a season like this too? That's tough as well, and then that's why it's tough to be a GM. Do you try and make your team compete against that, or you just try and get through what you have to get through and see what you got come the Final Four?
Right, if you can get out of your division. But again, if
I know,
everybody's
they're all
healthy,
ifs, right? Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
if
can't make
everybody's healthy, they're big. I mean, they have good size then, but
Yeah, and toughness and
toughness, right? But I mean, for me, Kevin Miller's still huge loss. So we don't know what's going on there. All right. I mean, Trent Frederick injured, lower body, played the first period, 6 shifts only. Don't really know what it is. We know he took it on a shop block. Bruce talked about that. Hopefully have an update come Saturday. Obviously, I think
Sounded X-rays were not broken.
right, but enough discomfort. We tapped the keg, which was great. First goal of the game. I like the way the fourth line played. McKegg gets his first goal as a Bruin, and I think he went 8 of 11 in the faceoff circle, which is nice, especially for that line, given where they start sometimes. Carson Coleman, I thought he did a nice job too. Another free agent kid out of college that they signed. They've done actually. You got to look at it and say they've done a pretty good job signing those guys out of college. That seems to be a real strong suit for Donnie Sweeney and his staff. Let's wrap it up with this: the COVID issue and how it changed the day. I understand that the players have it nice. I also understand, a lot of people say, "Oh, how hard could it be? They're waiting to know if they play or not. They're in a hotel and they're getting fed." And man, oh man. Even for, a scrub like me, it was all about routine at college. You wanted to know. Now, I will say I played one of my best games a couple of years that I played at Michigan when I didn't realize I was playing, when I got called last minute. I did. Lake State, great game. Had some awesome shifts. I can see it well. Great couple of hits. Coaches were ecstatic. And I felt like saying to them, "You should tell me all the time, an hour before that I'm playing."
Let me get in my own
career.
ears.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't know a player that doesn't love routine, right? I mean, and so now when you get that unknown factor, that's a tough spot for players to be in.
Yeah, it would be rattling for me. And again, you can't go you can't do anything. You're literally. Mm-hmm. You're in your rooms and you're all sitting there wondering if everybody's got COVID. Is this going to be a 2-week process, or are we going to play? And then they turn the light on and it's all right, let's go. Yeah. And so to sit around the hotel all day wondering if you're going to play it would be really difficult. Because it's easy just to defer to, all right, we're something's going on. We're not going to play. Let's just hang out this afternoon and I'll watch.
That's how I felt watching. Waiting. We were waiting to see if we were going to work.
Yeah, and it's like, all right,
my routine
whatever.
Was off.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh boy, I got to get going. And I'll watch 19 Netflix episodes all day because there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else for these guys to do. And so yeah, and on top of it, they didn't skate yesterday either. So these guys are going into that game last night for an hour, a day and a half off, and I think we should recognize how good of the product the NHL is giving us and how good the players are giving us under these circumstances. Because I didn't think tonight, Buffalo stinks, but I didn't think that it was such a horrible game because these guys weren't on the ice for the last 2 days.
Right.
I don't think you would have flipped it on and said, man, have these guys been in a bar for 2 days and not looked after themselves? But they go out and they skate and they work hard. And so it's good on the players because, again, I can't imagine how hard it really is to get up for a game like that after sitting around all day wondering if you're going to play.
Right. And as you said, the big wonder, and I would be this kind of guy, just the way my head works too, is, oh, wait, am I positive?
Yeah.
Am I, if this guy's positive, which, turns out Sean Corelli. Now, positive doesn't mean it's a positive. It's a positive test, so we'll have to get tested again, and we'll see. But now you're saying, well, wait a second. I sat with him at the team, meal or whatever, where, and so now I start.
Hey, and look at it. Imagine this. Imagine you're the one 2 days ago. They tell you you're going to play your first NHL game, or you're the keg, and you're getting a chance to go back out there, and all of a sudden, oh man, am I positive? Do I have to sit out the next 2 weeks? I'm never going to get back in the lineup again. Like, there's nothing worse than being a borderline NHLer and getting an injury, because you might not ever get a chance ever again, let alone a COVID positive test.
How about Zach Senyshyn?
That's right.
One game
and now who knows? Now Greg McKegg scores a goal. Now Steen plays well. And if you're doing that all off of a negative positive or a positive negative test, like you're worrying about those things as well. That's stressful.
Yeah. It's maybe a bad analogy, but what the guys went through today. But I'll still throw it out there as we get ready to wrap things up here on Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. It would feel like to me like you're on that plane, you've boarded, you back away from the gate, you head out to the runway, can't go anywhere, and all of a sudden you hear the engine go down, and then I'm right away waiting to hear what the captain's going to say, and sometimes you get the folks. We're 15 minutes. We're just going to sit over here for 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden it's, well, folks, they've backed us up again. Or every once in a while, you either get real lucky and they say, hey, you know what? They cleared us. We're going to head out. Or they say, got some bad news, folks. We need to pull back into the gate. Now you pull back into the gate and they say, listen, don't get off the plane because at some point we're going to take off. We don't know when, but okay. So then you'll do that. You're there for another hour. Am I ever going to get to my destination? I start going crazy. Of course, I need to eat something because I'm going to eat it, and now you just keep wondering. Anyways, I think that's how those guys were. They just couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. They're on that plane that's out. Remember, they were getting ready to go for the morning skate. They weren't going on the ice. They were getting ready to go to the arena. Coaches were already there. So it's a stressful mind of situation for those guys.
And your destination's not Milwaukee, it's Aruba.
No.
I'll just add that on too.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's that dangling out there, right? I don't mind Milwaukee, though. Growing up in Chicago, I will tell you, is a pretty good under-the-radar town.
Good golf. I brought Milwaukee up just for you because I know
Thank you.
Midwestern. That's
Good
why I brought it up.
Yep. Good golf. Pretty good food, too. Not bad beer, either.
I played the Admirals once. I was in Milwaukee before.
The Admirals, and they had a nice arena at the time.
Yeah.
The
really
Bradley
good
Center
setup.
at the time
I
was
like
nice.
it. Yep.
All right, so listen, good stuff. Bruins are back at it Saturday at 1 o'clock against the Buffalo Sabres. Razor, you will not be at that game, but you will be getting ready for Hockey East Championship between UMass and UMass Lowell. I will be doing the Bruins game and then heading out to do that game.
Oh, man. I'm so enjoying your day on Saturday.
Oh,
I really am.
It's going to be awesome. It's just awesome. All right, listen, and again, these are legit mugs, folks. These are not, they are legit. Oh, sorry. There we go. Legit,
There's not paper on it. It's actually
no paper, no nothing. And we're going to figure out a way to move a few, but we are not in the mug business. We are not, but we will get a few out there. In the meantime, enjoy the Bruins' 4-1 victory over the Buffalo Sabres, still in the thick of the playoff race in their division. Have a wonderful day. Have a nice off day. And as always, enjoy that coffee.